did King Solomon have spies? Because King Solomon is the father, the Goetia, right? People are like, oh, it was King Solomon's seal that could control all these demons. And so I put secret agents in the Bible. And I want to just run some of these past you. So the 12 spies of Moses in Numbers 13.
So when that happened was when they had left Egypt and Moses came with 12 spies and they just got to Canaan. And the reason why they didn't go into the promised land initially was because when they go in there, and there's a verse in the Bible, it's only the second time in the Bible that the word Nephilim's even used. When they go in there, they see the sons of Anak. They look like grasshoppers in their sight, is what the verse in the Bible says. And they were of the Nephilim, and that's in Deuteronomy. So when they get back, 10 of the spies go to Moses and say, no, man, we're going to die. And the other 2 spies tell Moses, no, we can. With the power of God, we can go in there and take them out. But the problem is the majority said no, and they hyped up the majority of the Israelites. So they ended up wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. God wouldn't even let them in there until all the men that didn't want to go to battle died. And they had a new crop of men. So after 40 years, they go back in there and they end up taking out all the giants at that point, which is like Og and Sihon, his brother, and all these other Rephaim at that time.
We got Rahab and the spies of Jericho. Mission covert infiltration. Before attacking Jericho, Joshua sent 2 spies to scout the city.
So Rahab, and she was in this city of Jericho where there were giants as well. So the 2 spies sneak in and she protects them. She keeps them away from the enemies there, and she gets them out safely because they are going in there to see, what they're dealing with. The deal is they tell her to leave this red rope out of her window. And if she leaves the red rope out of her window, she and her family will survive, which they do. Interestingly enough, Rahab is one of the few women that has been talked about as being in the lineage of Jesus himself. So she was actually a part of this line of David or pre-David. So she was a prostitute, which also lends to the idea that, God's grace and glory far surpasses anything else. And I find it interesting. There's a lot of sordid people who find their way back to God who are a part of this lineage of Jesus.